Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today's puzzle is a real beauty. This 1,000 piece puzzle from the artist Rosina Wachtmeister, an artist who lives in Italy, and produced by the German puzzle company Heye. It's one of 29 puzzles in a series of images of cats by Rosina Wachtmeister. On the back of the box there is a small image of all 29 puzzles in the series. There are a couple of 500 piece puzzles, quite a few 1,000 piece puzzles, and 4 2,000 piece puzzles. The one that I have here today is called Flowerbed. I purchased this second-hand at an op shop and was pleased to find that all the pieces are present. No missing pieces at all. Alright, so it's a Heye puzzle. I've got quite a number of puzzles of this brand and they are, without exception, really high quality. The pieces are thick, they hold together well. I haven't tried picking this up, but I think I probably can. Yep, so that's going to hold together nicely. The pieces sit together nicely. It's a ribbon cut with a handful of false fits, but nothing particularly concerning. Thick pieces, semi-gloss, or even edging towards a matte finish. This puzzle and the others in the series have metallic sections on it as well. There's a part up the top here with this star or the sun, parts of the faces of the cats, and some elements down here in the bottom in the garden. So not entirely matte finish or low sheen finish. Some of it's quite shiny. A little bit of a look around the picture. It depicts 3 cats, 2 cats and a kitten here in the middle of the picture. This one here is a very dark coloured cat, dark black cat. This one here is a grey and white cat, and this one here is a brown striped cat. The cats are in a flower bed with all different kinds of flowers. These look like poppies in the background here. These look like tulips or some kind of bulb in the front here, and these look sort of like daisies. There's some other very indistinct flowers all around it. The variety of flowers is not overly important. It's just that there are a variety of flowers in this garden. There are 3 very tall poppies growing up in the back as well, and there's a sky as the background at the top of the puzzle. Alright, so this very high quality, beautiful op-shop puzzle with this terrific image and these metallic highlights. How did I go about doing this puzzle? Well, I always start by pulling out the edge pieces, and I did do that as well. But I didn't realise that it had metallic pieces until I had the pieces in the sorting tray, and I noticed that there were some shiny pieces. They are metallic on the box cover, but I hadn't noticed that when I bought it, or even when I got it out to take the lid off. So that was a lovely surprise. So I pulled out the edge pieces on one side and I pulled out all the metallic pieces on the other side. I just thought they were going to be easy to identify, and I didn't want the shine to be distracting from the other things that I was looking for in the box. So I did those, and then I started to notice bits of the stripes of this brown striped cat. So I pulled out some parts, or a fair amount of that cat that I could find, and put it in a pile as well. And just went with those 3 things to start with. Alright, piecing it together, I did the edge. Well, I didn't do the edge first. No, that's not true. I did the striped cat first. There was such a small quantity of pieces that I could put most of it together. I didn't have all of them, but I put most of it together and left it in the middle of the table, and then went and put the edge together. The edge is a little bit tricky. There are some false fits there, but it does come together quite nicely and sit beautifully together. I had one piece that I couldn't find for a long time. I did wonder, being an op-shop puzzle, whether it was going to be missing. It turns out it wasn't. I had just overlooked it. So I had this cat, I had the edge done, and then I started to pull out this sort of white. It's not really white, it's slightly greenish white section for this cat, and the 2 parts of the faces of the 2 cats that are also that colour or very, very similar. So I pulled those out, And I also pulled out some of the grey from the rest of this cat and the top of its ear up here to put those together separately. I did put those in. They started to join onto the brown cat. And then there's a patch of the metallic here in between the two cats. So I actually just moved on to putting together the metallic sections, the two halves of the cat faces. I found the eyes of the cats and these sort of pinkish cheeks of these two cats. I put the metallic section of the sun in at the top here, and then I was left with these little tiny snippets of metallic bits down the bottom and on the side of the puzzle. So it took a little while to sort out which part went where, but because there are edges on this, we can follow the edge where the metallic meets the blue or the green in the background. Not terribly difficult to piece those together. The tricky ones were down the bottom here to make sure we had the right shapes in the right parts, because they are much more irregular shapes. So that's how I did that, and I started to come together there. I then moved on. I pulled out a pile of these spots, the orange and yellow spots on the blue backgrounds. I didn't do them straight away, but I just did pull those out. And then I started to look for pieces or colours that I thought just popped out to me that I could move on to next. And these pale pink poppies, these two here, I began to do those, but while I was doing them, I began to pull out some of the other poppies as well, particularly the maroonish pink magenta coloured ones here, and then moved on to these dark orange ones and the pink ones as well. So I pulled out the poppies, and by doing that, I actually filled in most of the yellow background here at the same time. The next port of call were these curly plant stems here in the background and these whiskers of the cats. Putting those together, these dark flowers over here, and then I put the spots in. So really, it just came together in small sections. This section, these sections, this part, this, and then down the bottom. The sky I did leave till last. The yellow from the rest of the sun up here was quite easy to find. There's a fair bit of yellow over here, but I had most of it in once I'd done the poppies, so I knew that most of what was left was going to be up there. And then I moved down to the bottom section where there are actually two distinct parts. There's a darker section with what looks like bulbs, tulips perhaps, or something like that, and then the lighter section here with the daisies. Was able to pull all of those, readily identify them and pull all of those out. And really I had progressed the puzzle right up to here, about 2/3 of the way up the puzzle. Plus I had the heads done, plus I had the poppies, plus I had the sun done. So really it was only this quite abstract background, sky background, to carry on with. The beauty of this background is that it is clearly not all the same colour. There's a lighter greenish patch in here. There's some quite yellowish green sections in here. There's a very dark blue section over here. There's a pale blue section through the middle. Mid blues around the edges here. So it was a colour sorting process more than anything else. But once I had the puzzle done right up to here, I turned the whole lot around so that I wasn't constantly stretching and putting strain on my back. So I did it upside down, and all the sky upside down, and then turned it the right way around, and hey presto, it was done. The hardest part of the puzzle was this black cat, I think. The sky was a bit tricky because there's so many components, but the black cat did take a little bit of effort. A few things helped though. Firstly, the fact that it is not a gloss finish was really helpful for this cat. Secondly, there is a gradation of colour. It's hard to tell even looking up close at it like this, but when I had the pieces out beside me, the top part of the cat is a much redder colour, has got more red overtones in it than the bottom half. The bottom is much greyer, or grey blue, much more grey blue than the rest of it. So it didn't take a huge amount of effort to put it together. There's not a lot of pieces. Considering that most of this here, well, all the edge pieces where it adjoins the next motif had already been filled in because it had something else on it. So there was only, this section here in the middle that really needed to be sorted out. It is a ribbon cut puzzle, but it is not a regular ribbon cut. There are some very irregular shapes in, or at least irregular versions of normal puzzle shapes. There are pieces that have got quite curly edges to them. There are points where the ribbon cut does not go straight through in a line, but slightly offset in the next line. But the pieces fit so well that you can tell if you've got it in the right place or not. And as I said, there were only half a dozen false fits really, mostly down in the bottom of this cat and a few on the edge. And once I got those sorted out, it wasn't a problem. This is a really beautiful puzzle. It's really, really lovely. It was a pleasure to do. I did this over the course of a morning, just sat and worked at it, for a few hours this morning, and I got a great deal of pleasure out of doing this image. It's just a really, really nice image to do. There is a level of challenge to the puzzle, but it's not impossible. It's not super easy like the one I showed last week with the ABC Ladybird book puzzle, which was super easy. This one was much more challenging, but not overly difficult. A sort of level of challenge where it gives you both that combination of pleasure and challenge at the same time. I recommend Heye puzzles. I really, really like them. I've got 4 of their triangle puzzles up here. I've got these 2 here as part of their movie director series, and now I've got this one. I'm not at all disappointed with the quality of their puzzles. I think they're fantastic. So we are going to have a time lapse. So if you'd like to make a comment below, I'd appreciate hearing from you. Yes, and if you'd like to click like and subscribe, we're going to have the time lapse. So thank you for watching.